The soil on the hill shuddered, exhaling a bone-white seed pod into his trembling hand. He planted it at midnight. Dawn revealed a wound in the earth, weeping silver light. From the wound, a tiny cloud emerged, but it wasn't white. It was the color of grief. The cloud drifted to the widow's house. Her wails stopped. The cloud turned pink. The old man's shadow had no owner. It moved separately, digging holes he never commanded. His name was Eldrin. Villagers whispered he had died years ago. Yet here he walked. He never spoke, only knelt, pressed seeds into dirt, and waited for the sky to answer. The first cloud was small, like a baby rabbit. It nuzzled the chimney of the grieving mother. She had lost her son to fever. After the cloud visited, she finally laughed again. The village healer noticed. She followed Eldrin up the muddy path one misty morning. "What are you planting?" she asked. He just pointed to the sky, where clouds gathered. Each cloud held a different color: blue for loneliness, gray for regret, gold for lost dreams. They floated like lanterns, searching for the homes where those feelings lived. A farmer who hated his land watched a brown cloud absorb his bitterness. He wept. The soil he had cursed for decades suddenly smelled sweet. He planted wheat with hope. Eldrin slept in a cave behind the waterfall. Moss was his blanket, silence his companion. Children dared each other to approach him. He gave them seeds like polished stones. They planted them in their gardens. Tiny clouds grew, shaped like their secret fears. One girl feared the dark. Her cloud was black as coal. It drank her terror and floated away. She slept with her candle unlit for the first time, smiling at the stars through her window. But not all clouds left peacefully. Some lingered, heavy and swollen with stubborn pain. The blacksmith's cloud was red, rage from a betrayal years ago. It refused to rise. Eldrin sat beside it for 3 days, patient as stone, until it finally lifted with a sigh. The blacksmith dropped his hammer. He wrote a letter to his estranged brother that night. Rumors spread. The village council grew suspicious. Magic had a price, they said. The mayor, a portly man named Orin, demanded Eldrin explain his craft to the town. Eldrin stood before them, wrapped in burlap, eyes as old as the hills he tended. He opened his mouth. No words came, only a soft wind that smelled of petrichor and pine. Orin declared him a threat. "He steals our pain." "What happens when he takes too much?" the crowd murmured. Was Eldrin a healer or a thief wearing a shepherd's disguise? That night, someone set fire to Eldrin's cave. They found him sitting outside, unharmed. The waterfall behind him had turned to steam, rising as a massive cloud into the moonlight. It was pearl white, pure. It hung over the village like a protective mother. The next morning, the arsonist, a young man named Kale, woke with a terrible clarity. He had burned the cave out of jealousy. His own father praised Eldrin more than him. A small grey cloud formed above Kyle's head. It absorbed his shame and guilt. Kyle fell to his knees. He confessed to the whole village, tears streaming down his face. Orin tried to arrest him, but the villagers stepped forward. They had all felt the clouds. They knew guilt. They knew shame. They knew the mercy of having it lifted. Orin stormed back to his large house, slamming the oak door so hard the windows rattled. That evening, a dark, purple cloud appeared over Orin's roof, the color of consumed power. It was massive, throbbing like a bruise. It did not float. It clung, desperate and heavy. Eldrin walked through the village. For the first time, people saw his face clearly. His skin was cracked like dry riverbed. and his eyes held no stars, only endless sky. He carried a single seed, glowing faintly, cupped in both hands like a sacred offering. He stopped outside Orin's house. He knelt. He pressed the seed into the mayor's garden. Nothing happened at first. Orin watched from his window, face twisted with defiance. Then the ground split. A cloud rose, violet, enormous, and began to pull at Orin's chest. Orin clutched his heart, gasping. The cloud tugged harder, drawing out decades of greed. It was violent, painful. Orin screamed as the cloud tore free, leaving him collapsed. The cloud drifted up, joining the others. Orin lay on his floor, suddenly small and quiet. He looked at his gold, his grand furniture, his silk clothes, and felt nothing but exhaustion. The next day, Orin opened his doors. He invited the poorest families to eat at his table. He served them himself, hands shaking, a strange lightness in his chest he didn't understand. Eldrin watched from the hills. For the first time, a faint smile touched his weathered lips. The clouds multiplied. The sky became a garden of drifting colors, a floating meadow. Children pointed and laughed. Lovers watched them pass, feeling old arguments dissolve. The village became quieter, but not empty, filled with a peaceful hum like a resting heart. Crops grew without pestilence. Wells stayed full. Even the oldest trees bore fruit again. But Eldrin was growing weaker. His movements slowed. His hands trembled when planting. The healer, Mira, confronted him. "You're giving more than seeds. You're giving yourself." Eldrin looked at her. His eyes, once empty sky, now showed pain, deep and ancient. He had been planting clouds for 300 years. He was the first seed's guardian. Long ago, a sorrow so vast had threatened to swallow the world. He chose to carry it. The clouds were his way of releasing it slowly, so the world could heal without breaking. Mira wept. "Then let us help you carry it." Eldrin shook his head. This was his burden alone. But the villagers had felt the cloud's blessing. They began leaving offerings at his hill. Bread, milk, flowers, blankets, small gifts of gratitude that warmed his cave each night. A group of children planted seeds they had saved, mimicking Eldrin's gentle hands. Tiny clouds sprouted, small, wobbly, but real. The children cheered as they floated up. Eldrin watched from above, and for the second time, he smiled. The burden had shifted. The clouds began to dance, weaving together into great spirals above the village. They carried not just sorrows now, but memories, beautiful, sad, and everything between. A cloud shaped like a mother holding a child drifted over the square. Everyone felt its warmth. Another cloud showed two brothers reuniting. The blacksmith saw it and wept with joy. The village became a place people traveled to see. Pilgrims came seeking the cloud planter. Eldrin never spoke to them. He simply gave them seeds and pointed to the hills. Some planted with greed, wanting quick relief. Their clouds burst, raining down their pain. They learned patience. They learned that healing could not be stolen, only grown. Eldrin's body grew translucent. You could see clouds moving within him like blood. Mira sat with him daily, learning the rhythm of the seeds, the language of the soil. One autumn evening, Eldrin stood on the highest hill. The clouds gathered around him. They were no longer separate. They formed a great canopy, a sky cloak that shimmered. Eldrin raised his arms. His body began to dissolve, flaking away like ash from a fire. But instead of falling, the flakes rose, each one a seed, each seed a future cloud. The villagers ran to the hill, watching in awe as their healer became the very thing he planted. Mira caught the last seed. It pulsed warmly in her palm, like a heartbeat. Eldrin's voice finally came, not from a mouth, but from the wind itself. "Plant me." Tears streaming, Mira knelt. She pressed the seed into the soil where Eldrin had first stood. The ground accepted it without resistance, like a child welcoming a parent home. A cloud rose immediately, vast, shimmering with every color ever known or felt. It spread across the sky, covering the world in a gentle blanket of understood sorrow. The villagers stood beneath it, feeling all their hidden pains acknowledged, held, and softened. It did not take their grief away. It simply made it bearable, made it human. Mira became the new keeper. The children who had planted seeds became her first students. The hill became sacred. Anyone could come, anyone could plant, anyone could release. The clouds still drift over the village today, carrying stories that were never meant to be carried alone. The clouds never ask for permission. They only ask you to be brave enough to let them go. Healing does not erase pain. It gives it wings, so it no longer has to walk beside you alone. The heaviest burdens grow light when shared, and even a seed, in kind hands, can remake the sky.